Hi there. Pastor Corey here over at First Congregational Church. And today I'm going to get a little bit political. I don't like to get political, but in the times that we are living with, sometimes we need to deal with a response. And the question that I really want to deal with is, how should we as Christians deal with our leaders during this time of crisis? The governor of one state is opening things up. The governor of another state has extended the stay-at-home orders. The church down the street is defying the government by opening its doors. The church right next to it has moved to online services only. How should we as Christians respond to such differing opinions, differing solutions? Many have gone to passages like Hebrews 10 verse 25, which says, "Let us not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." They say that God's command to gather, it supersedes the government's command to stay at home. Others have gone to passages like Romans 13, verse 1, where it states, "Everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established." They say that our duty to obey such authorities, that is our duty, as long as the government does not overstep its bounds and asks us to sin in some manner. My personal opinion is that what we are facing is more akin to Romans 14 than it is to Hebrews 10 or Romans 13. Romans 14 verse 1 states this. It says, "Accept him whose faith is weak, without passing judgment on disputable matters. One man's faith allows him to eat everything, but another man whose faith is weak eats only vegetables. The man who eats everything must not look down on him who does not, and the man who does not eat everything must not condemn the man who does, for God has accepted him. Who are you to judge someone else's servant? To his own master he stands or falls, and he will stand, for the Lord is able to make him stand. One man considers one day more sacred than another. Another man considers every day alike. Each one should be fully convinced in his own mind. He who regards one day as special does so to the Lord. He who eats meat eats to the Lord, for he gives thanks to God, and he who abstains does so to the Lord, and gives thanks to God. For none of us lives to himself alone, and none of us dies to himself alone. If we live to the Lord, and if we die to the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord." This passage talks about giving grace to one another in matters where there can be dispute. In matters where the Bible doesn't speak to us directly, saying do this or do that. And in the day that we are facing today, each congregation will have to decide what is best for them in their own context and in their own consciences. This is not something that we as a church should be fighting over or judging one another. If one church feels they should stay open because they feel the conviction of God's command to gather together supersedes any government order, then so be it. If another church feels that they should move to online services only in an effort to protect and love their neighbors, let them do it. The bickering that I've seen among Christians, it's saddened me. These are tough times for any in leadership, government or church. And I want to believe the best about our leaders. I want to give them grace. I want to believe that they are making these decisions with heavy hearts and a love for the people that they serve. So whether it's President Trump and in the decisions that he's making, whether it's our Governor Whitmer, and the decisions that she is making, or whether it's a local pastor, I want to believe that they are thinking about how to love their neighbor. Is it possible that these people have ulterior motives? Well, sure. But without definitive proof of that, I think we as Christians, we need to do our best to respect their authority. I guess what I'm trying to get at is that we need to give our leaders some slack. They are dealing with something that we as humans haven't dealt with in quite some time. There are going to be mistakes. There are going to be those who are overly cautious. And there are going to be those who throw caution to the wind. But I think for the most part, what we have are people who are trying their best to make the right decisions. Now, we may not agree with those decisions, but as Christians, we should grant them grace. And I think that's the message that we get from Romans 14. God bless.